Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Gaslands TV. Today I'll be showing you how to do some oil container terrains, but first I want to show you a test that I'm working on for our Etsy page. It's going to be an oil tanker that you'll be able to purchase with a bunch of stuff inside like guns and bits. But for this build I'm going to be using a few different things you can around the house. One of them is M&M container, and you could use it to carry around your dice. And we're going to use some straws for this as well. They have a nice bend and kind of looks like oil container pipes, I guess. And found this little metal piece here, and bread bag clip. I don't know if these have names, but I'm going to use them as feet for the container here. And this is something I found around a bottle cap, or a wine bottle cap, or whatever, you know, those little plastic things that keep the cap down. This is obviously a beer or drink cap, and could use it to cover up some stuff. And I'm gonna use also this red Oxon container. The cap is actually pretty cool. I think I'm gonna put the cap of the beer bottle here, and a few little other metal bits that you can find at hardware stores. And I think some hardware stores are actually delivering nowadays, so if you're looking for bits, it's pretty easy to just go to a hardware store online and order a few different little metal bits that you can find. I'm going to use some wiring also, and this is a cover for what are they called, extension cords that go outside on the exterior. You know, some of them have covers that you could block the electricity from getting wet or whatever. So I went around the house and I found a few of these, like 3 I guess. I'm going to use them underneath these, which are really useful. They stop these things from rolling around, but if you don't have those, you could use these clips here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to cut it and glue it at the bottom, but it's really annoying and hard to glue these things, and I don't think they're not going to last very long, especially if you're traveling or whatever. Those things really thin and it's not going to stay. So with a hobby knife or just a regular knife or anything, you can cut a slit in your M&M box here and just slide it in, and it's gonna do the feet, and it's gonna help it stand up. It's actually in there pretty tight, but if you want, you could use some glue and it's gonna stay there for sure. Now I have 2 M&M containers, so I'm gonna make them a little bit different. I'm gonna put the pipe in the back of this one. There's actually a little indentation to these M&M containers, which I really like. If you cut a slit here, it's really hard to glue straw, but I figured out a way that you cut a slit and then you cut the straw diagonally, and then you put that diagonal tip into the slit, and it's gonna stay, and it's gonna be super easy to glue, and it's gonna be a lot more sturdy when you're maybe traveling around with it or whatever. Now for this to glue and stay on these plastic things here, I'm going to use my cutters to make it a little bit diagonal, so that the thing actually like sits more inside the grooves once I put the glue. And I think cutting it also makes it more rigid, more textured, so it helps with the glue. I'm going to use this Tylenol bottle as well, and I'm going to make sure that the sticker is still left there, because I'm going to use it later on. I'll show you why. And for this thing, I think I'm just going to glue it and put it around, like make it look like a rim or something. It wasn't sticking, so I tried using tie wraps to hold it down, and glue that as well. But that that wasn't working either. Nothing was working, so I gave up. So I just put the tie wraps, and it looks pretty good. It really stressed me out, so took a little break. Had a chocolate banana muffin, get my energy back. And I'm gonna start decorating these things now with a few little pieces of metal bits that I found in my toolbox. I don't know if you guys know the name of these bits or whatever, but and here at the end of the pipe, I think I'm gonna use a window, which I took out of another car and I wasn't using. So when you're dismantling or breaking down Hot Wheels, you could use the windows for other things, or even terrain or whatever, even armors or rams or different things. So now for this, I'm going to glue the cap. And earlier you saw me gluing the electrical wire there. And you could wrap a wire around here also. Gives a little groove, gives some detail, and with a green one and a white one there. Now I want to add like an exhaust coming out from the top or something. So the hobby knife, I'm just gonna make a hole here. You could use your drill if you want. Make a hole and just put a straw in there, cut it in a diagonal. It's gonna give a nice little pipe. And I didn't like the way it meshed, so I'm gonna use this ring here to cover up the hole. Once it's gonna be all primed and painted, it's gonna look pretty good. And now for these wires, I'm gonna cut the excess and just tuck it underneath here. I mean, it's underneath, right? So it's not going to show that much when it's on the table. I changed my background music, so let me know in the comments if you like it. I also did more cuts, tried to make these videos a little bit quicker, faster for you to enjoy and watch. So let me know if you like these short cuts or longer videos. On top here I did a little pipe thing with just using straws, and on top of this tiny little bottle I'm going to put these wirings here. I might turn this into a Gaslands TV bunker or something, you know, maybe where the directors and the cameramen and stuff like that are inside doing a broadcast. Put an antenna up here. If you guys are looking for antennas, we're going to have them on our Etsy, and whenever you guys buy stuff from there, it really helps me out, helps out the channel, and helps me grow. And at the same time, you guys get some pretty cool bits and stuff to work with. Working on also getting these little camera things that you could put on the terrain. I'm gonna cut off the excess wire here. So the base is actually useful for two things: for hiding wires and tucking wires away, and holding the bottle up, which is pretty cool. Now, using sprues, which my friend gives me from his Gundams, I'm gonna put the little antenna thing here, and I don't know, that looks kind of wastelandish. And I think I'm gonna use this pill bottle. Since I had another one of these extension things, I'm gonna make a fifth, little smaller canister for the terrain. And this again is another window, a back window from one of the cars, I think Poison Ivy car. And I'm gonna just, I didn't use it, so I'm gonna stick it up on top of this thing, make it look like a hatch or something, a door or something could use to go inside. And the bottom was sticking out too much, so I'm going to cover that up with straws, make it look like pipes. And you could also use the end of these tie wraps to make it look like a little door, a little hatch or something. So once they're primed, they look pretty good. It looks like something that could be on a wasteland Gaslands kind of thing. Some metal dents, add some realism. You could dent these up before spraying them if you want, like with a hammer or something. But now to paint them, I'm going to use sponges and brushes and maybe Sharpies. And when you are sponging, you want to put some gloves on. Now before painting, which is a good idea, would be to just hop on your phone and look at rusted the oil containers, rusted tankers and stuff like that. Just gives you an idea of how the paint should look, or the direction that the paint should go and stuff like that. Now when I'm sponging, I like to make a line of paint on a flat surface so that the sponge doesn't go inside like a pool of paint. It goes in a little bit of paint. And I'm going to start at the bottom to remove most of the paint from the sponge, and then work my way up so that there's less and less rust. So I'm just going to go around and put some brown a little bit everywhere. You could also use these sponge brushes, also found at hardware store or even dollar store. And I like painting with the tip of these things, make some lines, like some watermark lines that go downwards. Maybe from the hatch, there's more rust coming down from there, so with some orange you could do some pretty good rust effect. This is not even rust effect paint, this is just pure orange. Bought it at Walmart. And if you don't want to use a regular sponge, these sponge brushes are pretty useful, pretty good. And depends how much time you want to use on these things, or spend on detailing these containers, terrain. You could also use these for other games, other wargaming games out there. And with a brush, you could just go more into detail or areas that you couldn't get into with a sponge. Just add some rust there. Put some under here. And along the edges all around. And a good little trick is to pretend you're cleaning your brush. Just pretend you're just cleaning the brush off the top edge of nooks and covers like this. Go all around. And once you've done with the brown and the orange, you could add some brushed metal, which is like a shiny black. I mean, I'm using this because I saw it on one of the pictures. There was some black rust. So most of these options are options, basically. So everything you see here is optional. They're just, ideas or tricks. I mean, you might like it just orange, you might like it a different color, your rusts, but for these ones, these are the colors I have, so I'm going to use just some orange, brown, and brushed metal. Again, with the brushed metal here, I'm just cleaning my brush along the edge of the edges of the opening. Now I put a lot more on the smaller one. And for this one I use the sponge for the brushed metal, so it gives it a different look. And I'm also going to paint the brushed metal underneath here. I feel like that would be a really rusted area, maybe along the bottom of this hatch here. I mean, it's not perfect, but looks pretty good. And now I'm going to add some silver. And silver is basically like chipping the rust and the paint and everything, and it's just going to add a bit more reflection to the edges here. At the edges is where the paint really comes off, even the rust comes off, so maybe some areas where the barrel got shot, put some silver there. All along the top. Just put silver wherever you want it to shine more, wherever you think paint might have got removed. Put some diagonal lines if you want. And there you can see the difference without the silver and with the silver. Now I'm going to put some silver on this metal piece here, and you'll see the difference with just a bit of dry brushing some silver, not too much, just a little bit on the brush. Gives it a metallic look, a little gloss, a little shine. Put some all around the edge here. And when there's very little brush or paint on your brush, you could just go quickly side to side, make some markings, and maybe some diagonal things just to break up the up and down look of the paint. Put some along the edge here. So far we've used 4 colors only, plus the primer. Now if you want, you could go back over the silver if you find there's too much silver. A little bit of orange, and you could add a bit of water to the orange so that it goes really into the cracks or into areas that you want it to go, and it's going to give it a less bright look as well. Now don't forget, whenever you're painting, everything you paint is brighter than what it's going to be when it dries up. And especially once we add the red wash tone. So this is a wash, but instead of it being like the normal black, it has some red to it. So it's going to give the canisters a nice reddish rusted color to it. Again, washes are going to be brighter when you're applying them. It's almost like water, and then it evaporates and it leaves a little tint, so it's going to be less bright. I'm going to do it on this one. I start from the top and I paint downwards when I'm putting on the wash. See, for example, here, should I cut or should I keep showing you what I'm doing? Right? Let me know in the comments if you guys don't mind longer videos, if you want to see everything I'm doing, or if you like this kind of video, which is like cut and quick information. I'd really like your opinion on that. So now for this one, I'm going to try a different approach and see what look we get. I'm going to start with the silver, and I'm not going to sponge. I'm just going to put some silver all around the edges, wherever you want to show that it was used up, or where you're planning on putting the rust. I'm gonna start it with some silver. Basically, that's how it starts, right? The paint starts to come off. Or does rust happen first and then paint comes off? I'm not sure. But with some orange here. Again, this is not a dry effect or dry rest effect. This is just orange with a bit of water still on the brush. And it gives it a nice little orange color. You could choose how much you want to put and where you want to put more rust. So maybe here, I'm just going to add more, a second coat or even a third coat. Just because I want that spot right there to be really rusty. And maybe on the other side, another spot. And even when there's a bit left on the brush, you could just pass it on the pipes and stuff. And I'm going to use the brushed metal again here on the edge. That hand holding the thing is pretty cool. Maybe it's like a logo, you know, someone holding a dynamite or something. I don't know. See how brushed metal looks? It's pretty good. All you got to do is pretend you're cleaning your brush on the edges here. Same thing you would do on your water cup, you know. Give you a nice look. You might want to do also the ends of the straws, so it makes it look like fire probably comes out of there, or smoke, or something corrosive comes out of those pipes. And again, with the red tone wash, very liquidy. Use a big brush and just gonna put some all over this thing. I haven't eaten in a while. It's weird. Don't forget to kids to sign your stuff. Why not? 2019, what the hell am I thinking? This COVID's making me forget that we're in 2020. I wish we were back in 2019. But there you go, you got four canisters done, but let's add some graffiti to it using tattoos. I like this bird. This bird's pretty cool. Let's put that on this. And take out the plastic. Stick it wherever you want. And I use the brush, the sponge brush, to apply water. It's tricky, like you never know when to remove the white paper, but I find that if you slide it a little bit in all directions and then slide it away, the tattoo is gonna stay. So try not to lift the tattoo, just slide the paper to one side. I don't like that it went over the rest here, so I'm gonna pretend that the rest came after the graffiti. Put some rest there and cut the wing off. Now it's time to do the Gaslands TV thing. Oh, got some chips mixed in with some healthy granola, which my wife makes, homemade granola. She has a website also, if you guys want to order some healthy granola, put it in the description. And let's put some graffiti on this thing here. I don't know what to write, I'll just write kill, I guess, why not? And I'm gonna dirty that up with a bit of red wash. For the graffiti, I just use Sharpies, a gold and a silver Sharpie. And let's write something on this one. I don't know. Let's see here. Now these are markers. They're paint markers that I bought off off Amazon, and they're pretty good. You shake them and just write wherever you want. They're pretty good for detailing and stuff like that. Even like the inside of cars or whatever, you could use to those pens work pretty well. Now for this, I'm gonna put some metallic purple from the bottom going upwards, and I'm gonna do my dish also purple and the wiring, and with some silver I'm gonna do the top part and go down into the purple. So that's gonna give it a bit of a damaged look. Maybe the container was purple before it got all rusted. Add some orange here at the bottom, wherever like metal meets, and then just make it go down. Wipe some orange here, the edges, and rusted it up a little bit. And now I'm gonna put some metallic aqua on this electrical box here. Since it's a Gaslands TV studio, it's gotta have the colors, right? And I rested that up as well. And again with the brushed metal, and dirty it up a little bit. And this is why I left the sticker and I positioned the bottle like that when I stuck it. I wanted the paper to look like maybe metal panels or something, you know. So with a bit of silver all around, it makes the edge of the sticker look like it was soldered metal, and with some brushed metal, just go along the edge of the sticker here, and it gives another layer of realism. And with some silver Sharpie here, I'm gonna do some little dots and put smaller dots inside them. This is how I do my fake bullet holes, and you could even rust them up a little bit. So put a dot of orange paint, and then with your finger just bring it down right underneath the bullet hole. You could do it until you're satisfied with how it looks. And for those little black dots, you can also use a toothpick if you don't have a pointy marker. Now let me try to freehand for the first time some graffiti here. Instead of using tattoos, I'm going to just do it with my hand. I'll do a few letters here. I'm not a graffiti artist. I'm going to paint the letters inside. So the first time you write it in black, it's like a guide for you to paint. And then with the black marker, you go over around the paint again. So you're gonna have to do it twice. And then I added a bit of aqua with the pens, aqua pen. I did a little bit of detailing with the pen as well. Why not? I found this thing a little late, but if you could find these things at your hardware store, they're really cool for hatches or to glue on top of the container there. They look really good. And for these pipes here, I think I'm gonna use a Q-tip, painted it's a bit of red and a bit of orange, and see if I could make some fire come out of those pipes or something. See what this looks like. It's not perfect. You could use cotton balls, but let's try with this. Maybe some black. Add a bit of black in there. Make some dirty smoke come out of that fire. And there you go. Those two are done. And what's cool is they could carry your stuff. All of these bottles, every single one, is you could open and put your stuff inside. Hazard tokens, damage tokens, dice, whatever you want. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you subscribe and get notified by hitting the notification bell. If you're looking for dice for Gaslands, or if you're looking for gates or templates, I got engines also with skulls on them that you could put on your car, weapons, miniguns, rams, missile launchers, even tires. If you want to switch out your tires, I sell all this stuff on Etsy, so check out the video description. And also join us on Facebook for contests every month. All you got to do is post a card that's purple and blue, or the Gaslands TV colors, and you have a chance of winning. Thanks for watching. See you next time.